When a woman's shadow awakens. The dangerous allure of her soul, Carl Jung. Have you ever wondered why a woman's quiet intensity can ignite a man's soul with a fire he cannot extinguish? In the depths of her being, where shadows dance with light, lies a power that Carl Jung named the shadow, the unclaimed, untamed essence that holds both beauty and danger. When a woman's shadow awakens, she becomes a force of nature. Her soul a labyrinth of mystery that draws men into obsession. This is not the gentle femininity of fairy tales but a primal, untouchable energy, rooted in Jung's concept of the unconscious, where the anima, the feminine archetype, meets the raw edges of her own darkness. Her allure is dangerous because it strips away illusions, forcing the masculine psyche to confront its own projections, its unhealed wounds, its desperate hunger for completion. She is the siren and the sage, the destroyer and the healer, and her awakening shifts the world around her with a silent, seismic force. The shadow, Jung taught, is the repository of all that has been repressed: anger, desire, shame, power, and when a woman embraces it, she steps into her fullest self. This awakening is not a gentle unfolding but a fierce reclamation, a journey through the night where she faces the parts of herself society deemed unacceptable. She has walked through the fire of trauma, the echoes of rejection, the weight of expectations, and emerged not broken but radiant. Her soul now carries the scars of that battle, and it is these scars that make her magnetic. A man senses this depth, this unspoken strength, and it stirs within him a longing he cannot name. He projects onto her his own anima, seeing in her the mother who nurtured, the lover who eluded, the goddess who judges, yet she remains beyond his grasp, a mirror reflecting his own unclaimed shadows. This mirroring is her power, a subtle yet profound force that disrupts the ego's fragile equilibrium. The masculine psyche, conditioned to seek control, finds itself disarmed by a woman who does not bend to its will. She has integrated her shadow, weaving its darkness into her light, and this integration is what makes her dangerous. Like Marcus Aurelius, who urged acceptance of life's impermanence, she has learned to stand firm in the face of chaos, her inner citadel unbreached by external storms. Her allure lies not in what she offers but in what she withholds, the mystery of her soul, the unspoken truths that linger in her gaze. A man becomes obsessed not because she manipulates, but because her authenticity forces him to confront the parts of himself he has buried. Have you ever felt this power surge within you, when you've embraced your own darkness and watched the world shift in response? The awakening of her shadow is a process of individuation, Jung's term for the journey toward wholeness. She has faced her fears, the fear of abandonment, the fear of being too much, and transformed them into strength. This transformation is not loud or boastful, it is quiet, a stillness that radiates from her core. Her soul becomes a beacon, drawing men who sense her depth but cannot comprehend it. They project their desires onto her, seeing in her silence a promise of salvation. Yet she offers no such redemption. Instead, she invites them to look within, to face their own shadows with the same courage she has shown. This invitation is intoxicating, for it challenges the ego's need to dominate, to possess, to define. Like Seneca, who taught that true freedom lies in mastering one's own mind, she has freed herself from the need to be understood, and this freedom is what makes her irresistible. Her danger lies in her refusal to conform. The awakened shadow is not a mask she wears to please, it is her truth. Raw and unfiltered, she has shed the layers of self-doubt, the trauma of being unseen, and stepped into a power that is both seductive and untouchable. A man feels this shift, this energy that defies his expectations, and it stirs in him a restless yearning. He wants to unravel her, to claim her, but she remains elusive, a force that exists for herself alone. This elusiveness is not a game but a reflection of her journey, the journey through the shadow to the light. Have you ever stood in your own power, letting your darkness shine, and felt the pull it exerts on those around you? That is the awakening, the moment when the soul asserts its sovereignty, and the world bends to its rhythm. The awakened shadow of a woman pulses with a quiet ferocity, a rhythm that reverberates through the unconscious, stirring the masculine soul into a tempest of longing and unease. Her presence is a paradox, a blend of vulnerability and invincibility, where the anima, Jung's feminine archetype, merges with the raw power of her unclaimed depths. She has walked the path of shadow work, confronting the ghosts of her past, abandonment, unworthiness, the silent screams of suppressed rage, and transform them into a strength that radiates without words. This transformation is her allure, a magnetic force that draws men into her orbit, not because she seeks them, but because her authenticity demands their attention. Her soul is a labyrinth, its walls etched with the scars of her journey. And it is this complexity that ignites their obsession, a fire fueled by the mystery they cannot unravel. This obsession is born from projection, a Jungian truth where the unconscious casts its unhealed wounds onto the canvas of another. A man sees in her the parts of himself he has denied, the tenderness he fears, the passion he represses, the shadow he avoids, and her awakened presence amplifies these reflections. She does not chase his approval or bend to his narrative, she stands as a mirror. Unyielding and serene, her silence a challenge to his ego. Like Epictetus, who taught that peace comes from accepting what cannot be controlled, she has mastered her inner world, leaving him to grapple with his own. Her danger lies in this refusal to be possessed, to be reduced to a role. She is not the savior he seeks nor the villain he fears, she is herself. A sovereign entity whose shadow has claimed its rightful place. The awakening of her shadow is a dance with the eternal feminine. An archetype Jung described as the source of life's dualities, creation and destruction. Love and loss. Her soul carries this duality effortlessly. Her presence a quiet storm that both soothes and unsettles. She has embraced her darkness, the anger that once consumed her, the desires she was taught to hide, and woven them into a tapestry of power. This integration makes her intoxicating, for it defies the masculine expectation of a woman who conforms, who pleads, who explains. Her silence is not empty, it is heavy with the weight of her transformation. A reminder that she has faced her demons and emerged unbroken. A man feels this strength, this unspoken resilience, and it draws him closer, even as it pushes him to confront his own fragility. Have you ever felt the shift when you've owned your shadows? When your presence alone has silenced the noise around you? This shift is the heart of her power, a force that reshapes the dynamics of desire. The awakened shadow does not manipulate, it reveals. Her soul becomes a space where truth emerges, raw and unfiltered, forcing those who encounter her to face their own unclaimed depths. She has shed the trauma of being unseen, the weight of expectations that once bound her, and stepped into a light that is uniquely hers. This light is not soft or submissive, it is fierce, a beacon that illuminates the path to selfhood. A man obsessed with her is not chasing her beauty or her affection, he is chasing the reflection of his own potential, the parts of himself he has yet to integrate. Her silence invites this work, a call to the soul that echoes through the chambers of his unconscious, urging him to awaken. Her danger intensifies as she remains untouchable, a force that exists beyond the grasp of control. The awakened shadow is not a tool for seduction but a testament to her individuation. Jung's journey toward wholeness. She has balanced her masculine and feminine energies, her animus and anima, creating a presence that is both receptive and resolute. This balance is what makes her irresistible, for it speaks to a truth buried deep in the masculine psyche, the longing for a connection that transcends possession. When she withholds her words, she withholds the need to be defined, and in doing so, she becomes a mystery that compels pursuit. You've felt this, haven't you? When you've stood in your own truth, when your silence has drawn others into your orbit, you've seen the power of your awakened soul. The awakened shadow of a woman flows like a river through the landscape of the psyche, carving paths where once there was only resistance. Her soul a torrent of depth that reshapes the world around her. This is the essence of her allure, a force that Jung would recognize as the anima rising from the unconscious. Infused with the raw power of her reclaimed darkness, she has faced the abyss, her fears of rejection, her rage at betrayal, the quiet despair of being unseen, and emerged not as a shadow to be feared but as a light to be revered. Her presence is a quiet revolution, a testament to the individuation process, where the fragmented self becomes whole. This wholeness is what draws men into her orbit, their obsession a response to the mirror she holds, reflecting their own unintegrated shadows with unrelenting clarity. This mirror is not gentle, it is a blade that cuts through illusion, exposing the ego's fragile defenses. A man projects onto her his deepest desires, the love he craves, the power he fears, the vulnerability he denies, and her awakened shadow amplifies these projections with a silent intensity. She does not soften her truth to appease him, she stands firm. Like Marcus Aurelius, who urged acceptance of life's unchangeable nature. Her inner citadel a fortress of self-mastery. Her danger lies in this steadfastness. This refusal to be molded by external expectations. She has shed the trauma of being defined by others. The weight of a world that demanded she dim her light. And in its place, she has claimed a power that is both seductive and untouchable. He feels this power, this unspoken sovereignty, and it stirs within him a restless yearning to possess what cannot be owned. The awakened shadow carries the eternal feminine, Jung's archetype of creation and destruction, a duality that pulses through her every movement. She is the mother who nurtures, the lover who consumes, the sage who sees beyond the veil, all woven into the fabric of her silence. This silence is not absence but presence, a space where the masculine psyche must confront its own incompleteness. She has integrated her darkness, her anger, her desire, her pain, into a strength that radiates without effort. And this integration is what makes her magnetic. A man senses the depth of her journey, the battles she has won within herself, and it draws him closer, even as it challenges him to face his own unhealed wounds. Have you ever felt the weight of your own power, when your silence has forced others to look within, to grapple with the truths you reflect? This reflection is the crucible of transformation, where desire becomes a catalyst for growth. The awakened shadow does not seek to trap, she seeks to liberate. Both herself and those who encounter her. Her soul is a beacon, illuminating the path to selfhood. Yet she offers no hand to guide. Like Seneca, who taught that true freedom lies in mastering one's own mind, she has freed herself from the need for validation. And this freedom is her greatest gift. A man obsessed with her is not chasing her form but the potential within himself. The parts of his psyche he has yet to claim. Her silence invites this work, a call to the unconscious that echoes with the rhythm of her own awakening, urging him to step into the unknown. Her untouchability deepens her allure, a force that defies the ego's need to control. The awakened shadow is not a performance but a truth, a living testament to her journey through the night. She has balanced her animus and anima, her masculine resolve with her feminine depth, creating a presence that is both fierce and tender. This balance is what makes her dangerous, not to others, but to the illusions they cling to. A man may project his fantasies onto her, may seek to unravel her mystery, but she remains beyond his reach. A sovereign being who exists for herself alone. This sovereignty is eternal, a force that transcends time and circumstance. Her silence a sacred space where transformation begins. You've known this power, haven't you? When you've embraced your shadows. When your presence alone has shifted the energy around you. You've felt the world bend to the strength of your soul. The awakened shadow of a woman burns like a flame in the stillness. Her soul a radiant force that illuminates the hidden corners of the psyche with unrelenting grace. This is the alchemy of her power. A transformation Jung would trace to the depths of the unconscious, where the anima merges with the shadow to forge a new self. She has traversed the landscape of her inner darkness, her fears of being unlovable, her rage at injustice, the silent ache of suppressed dreams, and emerged as a beacon of wholeness. Her presence is a quiet thunder, a force that resonates through the masculine soul, stirring the longing that is both primal and profound. This longing is her allure, a dangerous enchantment that draws men into the labyrinth of their own unclaimed depths, where obsession becomes a mirror for their own unintegrated selves. This mirror is a sacred space, a reflection that cuts through the ego's illusions with the precision of a blade. A man projects onto her his unhealed wounds, the father who abandoned, the lover who betrayed, the strength he fears to claim, and her awakened shadow amplifies these echoes with a silent intensity. She does not bend to his narrative or soften her truth to ease his discomfort. She stands as a pillar of selfhood, echoing Marcus Aurelius' call to accept what cannot be changed. Her inner citadel is unassailable, forged in the fires of her own transformation. And this unassailability is what makes her magnetic. He feels the weight of her sovereignty, the unspoken power of a woman who has claimed her darkness, and it ignites within him a restless desire to know her, to bridge the chasm her silence creates. The awakened shadow embodies the eternal feminine, Jung's archetype of life's dual nature, nurturing yet destructive. Gentle yet fierce, she carries this duality in her stillness. Her presence a quiet storm that both calms and disrupts. She has woven her pain, her trauma, her longing, her unvoiced strength, into a tapestry of resilience. And this resilience radiates without effort. A man senses the depth of her journey, the battles she has fought within, and it draws him closer, even as it challenges him to confront his own fragility. Her silence is not a void but a vessel, holding the mysteries of creation and dissolution. And it is this mystery that fuels his obsession. He seeks to possess her, to define her, but she remains elusive, a force that exists beyond his grasp. Have you ever felt the pull of your own power? When your silence has drawn others into your orbit, compelling them to face their own truths? This pull is the heart of her transformation, a force that reshapes the dynamics of desire into a path toward growth. The awakened shadow does not seek to bind, she seeks to free. Her soul a catalyst for the individuation process in those who encounter her. She has shed the weight of external validation, the trauma of being unseen, and stepped into a light that is uniquely hers. This light is fierce, a call to the unconscious that echoes with the rhythm of her own awakening. A man obsessed with her is not chasing her form but the reflection of his own potential, the parts of his psyche he has yet to integrate. Her silence invites this work, a challenge to step into the shadows and emerge whole, much like she has done. Her untouchability is her strength, a force that defies the ego's need to control. The awakened shadow is not a mask she wears but a truth she lives, a testament to her journey through the night. She has balanced her animus and anima, her masculine determination with her feminine depth, creating a presence that is both unyielding and tender. This balance is what makes her dangerous, not to others, but to the illusions they cling to. A man may project his fantasies onto her, may seek to unravel her mystery, but she remains a sovereign being, her silence a sacred space where transformation takes root. This sovereignty is eternal, a force that transcends the fleeting desires of the world. Her soul a quiet revolution that reshapes all it touches. You've felt this, haven't you? When you've stood in your own truth, when your awakened shadow has shifted the energy around you. You've known the power of your unbound soul. The awakened shadow of a woman glows like embers in the twilight, her soul a constellation of light forged from the depths of her inner night. This radiance is the culmination of her journey, a Jungian odyssey through the unconscious where the anima and shadow entwine to birth a new self. She has faced the specters of her past, her shame, her silenced rage, the weight of a world that sought to dim her, and transformed them into a power that pulses with quiet intensity. Her presence is a sacred storm, a force that ripples through the masculine psyche, awakening a longing that is both ancient and urgent. This longing is her allure, a dangerous siren call that draws men into the abyss of their own unclaimed depths, where obsession becomes a bridge to their own transformation. This bridge is forged in the crucible of projection, where the unconscious casts its shadows onto the canvas of her being. A man sees in her the parts of himself he has buried, the tenderness he fears, the strength he denies, the love he has yet to claim, and her awakened shadow magnifies these reflections with a silent, unyielding force. She does not soften her truth to comfort him, she stands as a beacon of individuation, echoing Epictetus' wisdom that peace lies in mastering one's own responses. Her inner world is a fortress, built from the ashes of her trauma. And this fortress is what makes her magnetic. He feels the depth of her sovereignty, the unspoken power of a woman who has claimed her darkness, and it stirs within him a restless desire to know her, to touch the mystery her silence guards. The awakened shadow carries the eternal feminine, Jung's archetype of life's dual essence, creation intertwined with destruction, gentleness laced with ferocity. She embodies this duality in her stillness, her presence a quiet tempest that both soothes and disrupts. She has woven her pain, her wounds, her unvoiced dreams, her resilience, into a tapestry of strength. And this strength radiates without effort. A man senses the breadth of her journey, the battles she has waged within, and it draws him closer, even as it challenges him to face his own unhealed scars. Her silence is a sacred pause, a space where the mysteries of the soul unfold. And it is this mystery that fuels his obsession. He seeks to unravel her, to define her, but she remains beyond his reach, a force that exists for herself alone. This untouchability is the heart of her power, a force that transforms desire into a path of growth. The awakened shadow does not seek to bind, she seeks to liberate. Her soul a catalyst for the individuation of those who cross her path. She has shed the burden of external validation, the trauma of being reduced to an image, and stepped into a light that is fiercely her own. This light is a call to the unconscious, a rhythm that echoes with her own awakening, urging others to confront their own shadows. A man obsessed with her is not chasing her form but the potential within himself, the parts of his psyche he has yet to integrate. Her silence invites this work, a challenge to step into the darkness and emerge whole, mirroring her own journey. Her danger lies in her refusal to be controlled, a force that defies the ego's need to possess. The awakened shadow is not a performance but a truth, a living testament to her passage through the night. She has balanced her animus and anima, her masculine resolve with her feminine depth, creating a presence that is both unassailable and tender. This balance is what makes her irresistible, for it speaks to a truth buried in the masculine soul, the longing for a connection that transcends ownership. When she withholds her words, she withholds the need to be defined, and in doing so, she becomes a mystery that compels pursuit. You've felt this power, haven't you? When you've embraced your shadows, when your presence alone has shifted the world around you, you've known the strength of your awakened soul. As the shadows lengthen and the light softens, her journey reaches a pinnacle of freedom. She stands detached from the need for approval, her soul reborn in the quiet peace of self-acceptance. The world may chase her, may project its desires onto her, but she remains sovereign, a force of nature untethered by external storms. This is the gift of her awakening, a rebirth that frees her from the chains of validation, a peace that radiates from within. The woman who knows her worth doesn't chase, she chooses.